Hello students, welcome to EPG Patashala. I am Dr. Basaprabhu Jirli from Banaras Hindu University. Today we are going to talk on a module National Agricultural Extension System from the paper Concept and Dimensions of Extension Education. The objective is to understand the National Agricultural Research and Extension System. So, since the human civilization and the moment man started making use of various crops for his consumption purpose, we can say that that is the beginning of the process of agricultural research. And when he started communicating this particular thing of use of crops for his food purpose, that is what is the beginning of extension in Indian context, that we can say. But over a period of time, the same set of people who were the original people, they tried to domesticate a good number of plant species available for the benefit of human consumption. That is what is the beginning of agricultural research, we can say. Then coming to the extension initiatives, over and again, time and again, so there are good number of trial and error methods that have been going on in different parts of the country as well as different parts of the world. The process of providing extension services has seen good number of modifications in its service aspects are considered. It is not only at the Indian context, in different countries also we see different models over a period of time. There is going to be certain modification as there is change in the technology and as we see the processes of methodologies that are going to change. For example, the introduction of the information communication technologies. In Indian context also, we have seen good number of changes in the process of providing these extension services. So, in the post-independence era, we have a systematic agricultural research and extension system, even though the process started in the pre-independence era. So, it was given a formal shape in the post-independence era. That is what we are trying to put it under one particular umbrella as a National Agricultural Research and Extension System. So, when we look into this particular system, there are four major institutional arrangements to deliver the extension services for the benefit of common man. The first institution under that category is the Indian Council of Agricultural Research and the state agricultural universities. The Indian Council of Agricultural Research, which was established in the year 1929, and it has a nationwide network of research institutions under different headings that we will be understanding at length when we enter into that point. The another unit which is providing these services, that is the research and extension services, is the state agricultural universities, which are specific to a particular state, taking care of the regional needs of that particular state. ICAR as a nodal agency, as a national institute, so it is taking care of the needs of the country and it is providing the research base for various crops and enterprises at the national level. There is another institution which we try to identify it as the extension system of Union Ministry of Agriculture and state departments of agriculture. Basically, these are the service providing agencies. There is no element of research in these institutions. Basically, they are providing the extension services for the entire state or the area of operation or area of jurisdiction of that particular institution. The third group of institution is the extension system of Union Ministry of Rural Development and the state development departments. So, now you must be having a question that we are discussing the agricultural research system, why the Ministry of Rural Development is coming or figuring in between. We cannot have a difference between, or we cannot differentiate between the rural development and agricultural development. Yes, there are certain differences that we come across. The agricultural development is one of the component of rural development, but that component is inseparable component. If we take out this agricultural development in the rural development, so then very few things are left. So that is why all the services that are being provided by the Ministry of Rural Development are directly or indirectly contributing towards the agricultural development, or it is also a form of extension service. The fourth and one of the most important institution which is providing the services to the people is the development work done by the non-governmental organizations and the business houses. Even though these institutions are not having any control by the government agencies, these are the institutions basically established on a no profit, no loss basis. The basic objective of these institutions is to provide services to those section of the society which is generally neglected by the society. We say that how we can reach the unreached NGOs and the institutions that are established by the business houses, that we can say. They are having a very close knitted relationship with these grassroots level institutions. In many cases, we find that where the government institutions have not reached, but the non-governmental organizations have reached those parts of the country, and they are providing the satisfactory services to these people which are generally neglected by the other institutional streams. So, these are the four major streams of organizations which are providing the extension services. Now, we will be understanding these things one by one. As we have seen, there are four major organizational streams which are providing extension services, in which the first one is Indian Council of Agricultural Research. ICAR is a nodal agency of coordinating agricultural research and extension activities at the national level. Over a period of time, it has huge nationwide agricultural research infrastructure. Currently, Indian Council of Agriculture Research is having 51 central institutes, 6 deemed universities, 6 national bureaus, 34 project directorates, all India coordinated research projects and zonal project directorates, 17 national research centers, 641 Krishi Vigayn Kendras, 55 state agricultural universities, 1 central agricultural university and 4 central universities with agricultural faculty. All these groups of institutions have a mandate of conducting research and providing extension services to the community. The extension services provided by such institutions are recognized as center extension or extension education activities. The next group of institutions which meant exclusively for providing extension services are identified as field extension or extension service initiatives. ICAR and state agriculture universities are taking up first line extension activities. The first line extension activities under ICAR include national demonstrations is one of the first line extension activities of ICAR. Launched in 1964 with the premise that scientists who has developed the technology should demonstrate it for the beneficiaries. Even though there is limitation that, but practically it's difficult to cover the entire target population, but he can do it in a limited scale so that he can convince the potential adopters of technology, and in turn they will become advocates of the innovation. All India Coordinated Project on National Demonstrations was a nationwide project launched throughout the country. The National Demonstrations Project was different from other demonstrations. The differences include the farmer in whose field the demonstration is being conducted should be an actual cultivator with small landholding. The demonstration should be in an area of 1 hectare land, not less than that. The scientist should have direct interaction with the farmer where the demonstration is being conducted with the help of a local extension worker. There is a specific yield target set for demonstration as per the potential performance of the technology. Generally, what happens? We try to provide them the yield targets, but it may or may not be achieved when the farmer uses that particular technology. Hence, under national demonstrations, we are going to declare that this particular technology is going to yield this particular result, and we will demonstrate that for the benefit of farmers. And another important thing was, in all other demonstrations we have a control plot. That type of control plot was not existent in case of national demonstrations. The fields of other farmers who are not adopting this particular technology was acting as the control plot. After having discussed the program or the major extension initiative, that is All India Coordinated Project on National Demonstrations, now we will move on to the next important program launched by Indian Council of Agricultural Research, that is Operational Research Project. This operational research project was having a little bit different components compared to the national demonstrations. What makes it different? Basically, the operational research project was intended to disseminate the technologies on watershed basis. So, when we say that on watershed basis, it is a different type of system that we are coming across. Unlike in the plain areas where the operations of agriculture are comparatively easy compared to those type of terrains where we have some undulations. So, under such circumstances, one particular farmer cannot do or cannot take up any initiative until and unless the other set of farmers who are there in that particular vicinity are going to coordinate or come together. Because a watershed is particularly a catchment area of rainwater. So, and the rain received in that particular region or in that particular watershed is going to collected at a particular point, and it has a specific entry as well as a specific exit point also. Under such circumstances, one farmer cannot take up any initiative in his operations of agriculture. So, that is where the role of the entire community is needed. So, hence a specific project was launched by Indian Council of Agricultural Research under the name of Operational Research Project. The objectives of this project included to demonstrate new agricultural technology on the farmer's field in a village or cluster of villages on watershed basis. We said that one watershed, it may cover one village or a group of villages. Operationally, the range of this watershed may vary from about 100 hectares to 500 acres. So, under such circumstances, it may cover, means if the village is big, it is only one, or a number of villages may come across one under one watershed. Whatever the programs, the developmental initiatives that we are going to take up should have the consent of all these villagers, then only we can take up. That is what is the beauty of this program. The second objective of this ORP was to determine the profitability of the technology and their pace of spread among the farmers. As I said, the terrain of this is going to be a sort of hilly type of terrain. The farmer at the top has accepted the new intervention, but the farmer at the bottom, who is having his field at the bottom, if he is not accepting this particular innovation, so then we cannot say that both these farmers are going to harvest the benefits of this program. It is not possible at all. Hence, the element of profitability is always under question mark. Then, the third element is to identify the constraints, both technological as well as socio-economic, which are barriers to rapid change. In case of agriculture and allied sciences, technology alone cannot make any difference. Along with that, we need to take care of the socio-economic conditions also, because all these operations are having the element of the need for intervention of the socio-economic factors, because they are directly influencing the farming situation, and these socio-economic conditions are going to appear there. So, hence we need to give attention to these factors also. The fourth objective of this program was to demonstrate the group action as a method of popularizing the modern technologies. As we said in our previous discussions also, there is an element of culture in agriculture that becomes more relevant in case of Indian conditions. That is why we say that to demonstrate the group action is the key. It is not that individual is going to be in action, but a group of people should come together and they should act together. Then we can say that there is change, because in Indian condition the land holdings are very, very low compared to the developed or the other developing nations. So, under such circumstances, one particular farmer with maybe 1 or 2 acres of land cannot make much difference until and unless he cooperates and he coordinates with his fellow farmers. Then only we can see changes, which is also taking care of good number of socio-economic factors. Krishi Vigayn Kendra or Farm Science Center. Krishi Vigayn Kendra or Farm Science Center was launched in 1974. The KVK were envisioned as an institution for bringing the change in at a district level. The first KVK was established at Pondicherry under Tamil Nadu Agricultural University. Later, it was realized that every district should have minimum of one Krishi Vigayn Kendra. In the effort, there are 641 KVKs throughout the country as on date. The High Power Committee on Management of Krishi Vigayn Kendra, headed by Dr. R.S. Paroda, former Secretary General DARE and DG ICAR, submitted its report to the Government of India in January 2014. According to the report, the vision of Krishi Vigayn Kendra is science and technology led growth leading to enhanced productivity, profitability and sustainability of agriculture. I hope you must have observed the difference in our mission. Earlier, we used to say that increase in production, but now we are telling that increase the productivity, that is going to enhance your profitability. Coming to the mission of Krishi Vigayn Kendra, farmer-centric growth in agriculture and allied sciences through application of appropriate technologies in specific agro-ecosystem perspective is the mission of Krishi Vigayn Kendra. The mandate of KVK reveals the crux of the institution. What is expected from an institution is clearly mentioned, as well as how to go ahead with the achievement of vision and mission of KVK are directed through mandate of Krishi Vigayn Kendra. The mandate is technology assessment and refinement and demonstration for its wider application and enhance capacity development. It is also spelled out in the report that how to achieve the mandate. The activities are to be taken up to achieve the mandates as mentioned in the report on KVK are: the first one, on-farm testing. To assess the location specificity of agricultural technology under various farming systems. On-farm testing is done by the scientist himself in the premises of KVK, through which scientist is updating the information base of scientific staff of KVK. The steps of OFT include site characterization, problem statement, planning and experimentation, result and discussion, follow-up action, feedback, conclusion, and the salient recommendations. Outscaling of farm innovations through frontline demonstrations to showcase the specific benefits or worth of technologies on farmer fields. The scientists visit the fields of farmers to demonstrate the worth of technology developed by himself or herself. Using farmers' field and labor inputs, other essential inputs, namely seed, fertilizers, plant protection chemicals, etc., along with the appropriate information, are provided to the farmers time to time. Ultimately, the technology is showcased in the farmer's field so that it becomes an example for the region that how technology is working, what are the pros and cons of accepting the technology are put in the picture of the community. Capacity development of farmers and extension personnel to update their knowledge and skills in modern agriculture technology and enterprises. Development of skills is the key issue in ensuring holistic development. Like engineering, medical, and other professions, agricultural operations also involve lots of skills. May it be seed treatment, spray of plant protection chemicals, fertilizer application, operation of agricultural implements, compost preparation, etc. All these things are having the component of skills. Hence, there is regular need for capacity building of the farmers. Work as a knowledge resource center for improving overall agricultural economy in the operational area. The operational area of KVK is a district. As per the mandate of KVK, KVK should act as the knowledge resource center, means whosoever is in search of appropriate information, he should get it from the nearest Krishi Vigayn Kendra. The responsibilities of KVK are being given momentum by the additional responsibilities. Conduct frontline extension programs and provide farm advisories using information communication technology and other media on varied subjects of interest to the farmers. Since 1992, all the frontline extension activities of ICAR, which were running independently since their inception, were merged with Krishi Vigayn Kendra. Hence, all the extension activities were brought under one umbrella. In the post-liberalization era, ICT stealed the show of communication scenario. Hence, Krishi Vigayn Kendras are making increased use of information communication technologies for dissemination of information. The next program under frontline extension was the Lab to Land program, launched in 1979. Initiated as a part of Golden Jubilee celebrations of Indian Council of Agricultural Research, the feedback of developmental initiatives so far revealed that the small and marginal farmers, landless laborers, and farmers belonging to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes were not benefited much. Hence, Lab to Land program was launched with a special emphasis on the weaker sections of the society. Technologies were developed and transferred keeping in view of weaker sections of the society. The next set of organizational stream which is providing the extension services to the people is the extension system of Union Ministry of Agriculture and State Departments of Agriculture. Department of Agriculture and Cooperation is a unit of Union Ministry of Agriculture. Under Union Ministry of Agriculture, there are two departments. One, Department of Agricultural Research and Education, and or it is also known as Indian Council of Agriculture Research, which we have seen at length just before this, and the second department is Department of Agricultural Cooperation. There is a Directorate of Extension under the ministry, which has the responsibility of coordinating the agricultural extension services throughout the country. The basic activity of this particular department, it establishes liaising with the state departments of agriculture and other line departments of the state as well as at the union government level. DSC organizes the pre-seasonal workshops for development of strategy for the respective seasons. Just before beginning of the particular season, they organize this workshop involving all the ministers as well as the extension professionals from different states, and they develop a strategy at the national level. Also, the Directorate of Extension has a good number of capacity building programs, especially for the farmers and the extension professionals. Apart from that, they are taking care of the capacity building of the researchers at the national level also. For taking up capacity building programs, Department of Agricultural Cooperation has a technical advisor for crops, horticulture, plant protection, fisheries, etc., which cover all the allied sciences of agriculture. Extension system of Ministry of Rural Development and State Development Departments. Ministry of Rural Development has seen so many changes since its inception. It is this particular ministry which implemented the programs like Community Development Program, Integrated Rural Development Program, Training of Rural Youth for Self-Employment Program, Development of Women and Children in Rural Areas Program, Food for Work Program, Indira Awas Yojana, National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, and the latest, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, are some of the examples that the ministry is planning and implementing. In all these things, we have the role of the farmer to play, and that is how it is also supporting the extension services. Development work done by non-governmental organizations and business houses. When we analyze the pre-independence extension activities, almost all these programs were run by the institutions which can be classified under non-governmental organizations. Basically, these were the organizations which were meant for no profit, no loss basis. So, in that particular line, there are a good number of such organizations that we can count. As on date, there are good number of NGOs which are providing services on agriculture and allied sciences. To quote some example, the organization known as BAIF, Bharatiya Agro Industries Foundation, which is having its headquarters at Pune, but working in different parts of the country. Especially, its emphasis is in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and various other underdeveloped or developing states within the country, and it is providing good amount of services. In the similar way, MS Swaminathan Research Foundation is providing human services to the fishermen and the needed community in the states of Tamil Nadu and the Pondicherry. Especially, they are taking care of the needs of the fishermen, the information needs of the fishermen, and various issues associated with agriculture and allied sciences. The SEVA is another organization. The full form of SEVA is Self-Employed Women's Association, which is motivating to diversify the livelihood opportunities of the women in the weaker women belonging to the weaker sections of the society. There are good number of such non-governmental organizations that we can count here. So these are the positive aspects of these non-governmental organizations. Apart from that, there are certain negative aspects also. Just to quote a few, every year government releases a list of non-governmental organizations blacklisting their names from the government funds, for getting the government funds. What does it indicate? It means there are some organizations, especially the non-governmental organizations, which are involved in some fraudulent activities. So let us not concentrate on these negative aspects, but apart from that, there are good number of positive aspects are also there. We said that it is not only the NGOs, but there are good number of business houses who are involved in providing extension services. So there are two opportunities before a business house to contribute for the cause of extension services or to contribute for the development. Either they can support these NGOs who are operating at different levels so that they can function in a more competent manner, or as a part of the corporate social responsibility, they can launch their own organization and enter into this development sector for providing the services. So these are the various organizational streams that we have seen which are contributing for the extension services and ultimately to achieve the concept of development. After having discussed all the four major organizational streams which are providing the extension services for the farmers, now let us conclude the topic. There is institutional infrastructure to conduct research and to provide the extension services for ensuring development at the national level as well as at the state level. Until and unless we see certain changes at the state level, we cannot say that the national development is going on. A particular state is developed and some other state is not developed, the development at the national level is imbalanced. Hence, the union government is emphasizing on the overall development or overall positive change in all parts of the country in equal manner. The only thing is participation of the people in the process of development. Wherever we observe participation of people in the development initiatives, that particular part of the country has seen good number of changes, and wherever it is not, there is no change and no development. The role of the government is to ensure participation of the people, and it is making a lot of efforts, but as we have seen in case of community development, there is a specific role to be played by the people also. Government can provide the institutional support, but they cannot make you to act in that particular direction. It is the initiative of the people who should come forward and who should take part in these governmental initiatives, then only we can see the changes, and that is what is the purpose of all these major institutions which we discussed under National Agricultural Research and Extension System. Thank you.